So I'm making this vlog to update you with what's been going on. I apologise if this vlog is all over the place because that is how I feel at the moment, all over the place. I can't even collect my thoughts properly. I am just a bit of a emotional brain fart at the moment, so this is going to be a TMI video, so if you don't want to hear any of these gory details, maybe skip to the end, or, you know, just give this video a miss, that's fine. Here's the situation. So, my period came early this month, like a week early, well, that's 6 days early. And I was very surprised because my period never comes early, it always comes on time or late. And it was really, really heavy. I mean, heavier than normal, but it didn't have very much cramping. Like, it did have cramping, but not very much cramping. And it lasted a lot longer than what my cycle normally lasts for, because my cycle normally lasts about 5 to 6 days, but out of those 5 to 6 days, only like 3 or 4 days are like heavy flow, the rest is just like spotting. So I just thought, wow, this is a really heavy period, and you know, maybe something's happened that's disturbed my hormonal balance, that's upset it a bit. So, you know, I was just like, okay, whatever, just ignored it. You know, I'm busy, I've got 4 kids, things to do. I'm not going to sit around and, you know, stare into my symptoms of my body and what it's doing. You know, it's just get on with it. Anyways, that happened, and 8 days, you know, a long time. Anyway, so my cycle finished, and I had 3 days of normal behaviour, and then on the 4th day, after my cycle stopped, my period stopped, I started cramping to the point where I thought maybe I'm due to ovulate because my cycle is finished. I've stopped menstruating. What comes next in your cycle? It's either your period's due again, or you're ovulating, or, you know, whatever. Well, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I'm going to ovulate soon because my cycle's just finished. And literally within like half an hour of me thinking that, I felt a gush downstairs. So I immediately went to check, and I'd started hemorrhaging again. And I was just like, what? Like, I've just had my period. I've had 3 days of nothing, and now I'm bleeding again. And I just thought, this is just really, really weird. It actually played on my mind and actually started making me feel like, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with me. My body's doing something really, really weird. I noticed that over the last few days, my milk supply seemed to be increasing again. And I couldn't account for why, because Daniel's not been nursing more frequently. Normally, if your milk supply decreases and then suddenly increases again, normally the increase is due to, you know, the baby is drinking more, so it's stimulating the breast to produce more milk supply. But he hadn't been. He'd been nursing less frequently, going all day basically without nursing, then nursing in the evening. I noticed it that I was getting letdowns on multiple times throughout the day. I mean, sometimes as infrequently as half an hour apart. And that is like the kind of supply letdown you get when you're breastfeeding a newborn who's feeding every half an hour to an hour. Not a child that's 18 months that's feeding, you know, in the evening and at bedtime. So I noticed that, and I thought that was really strange. I've been very emotional. I've had a few, you know, dreams that were a little bit more vivid than what I'm used to. They weren't like full-blown vivid dreams, but they were like, I normally don't remember my dreams at all. And I was having dreams that were like, I remember that dream. Yeah, definitely feeling very emotional. There was a couple of days where I was just crying about everything, and it was just ridiculous. Anyway, so that's some of the symptoms, if you like, which led me, combined with this random bleeding, whoa, I nearly lost you then, combined with this random bleeding, which led me to think, shall I just do a random pregnancy test? Which I know is like a stupid idea, because me and my husband had been intimate once, like, I don't know, like a month ago. It feels like a month ago. But my husband is disabled, so we do not have a very active love life. We have, we're intimate like once or twice a year, maybe sometimes a bit more, maybe sometimes like a lot less. We can go for a long time without being intimate. My husband also is on a lot of strong medication, lots of different types of tablets that are known to cause fertility issues. Needless to say, there isn't a great risk of me getting pregnant at all. So it's very, very unlikely that I am pregnant, because obviously that is what this is all leading up to, is am I pregnant or not. So I had decided to do a pregnancy test. So I tore my room apart trying to find an old test, which I did, and I did the test, and I was just like, oh, this is just so silly, but at least it will just get that thought out of my mind, and I'll just have to accept that I'm a weirdo and that my body is just bleeding again for no apparent reason. Anyhow, so I do the test, and straight away I see a second line come up, and I'm just like, what? You know, like seriously, like so shocked. I was crying like no. I'm glad the kids were in bed, let's put it that way, because there was a little bit of blue language, because it's not supposed to happen at all. And my first thoughts was, because I just didn't believe the test, and I still don't believe the test, to be honest. The line was quite dark. It was not a faint line. There was no, is there a line there? This was a dark line. It wasn't like dark, like as dark as the control line or anything like that, but it was dark. Anyway, so I freaked out and did another test. So I went up my loft, rummaged through my bags, found an old pregnancy test, and I did another one, and this one came up even darker. So by this point I'm like freaking out big time, but I went to bed, I just prayed about it, left it with the Lord, and went to bed. So this morning I phoned my mum first thing, and well, not first thing, but I phoned my mum early and explained the situation to her. She came over and said, look, the only way to deal with this is to do a digital that she'd had at her house. I couldn't do the test. I just literally couldn't do it. My mum did it and it came up positive. It says pregnant 1 to 2 weeks, which would be about right based on the time of possible conception. So I will try and insert pictures. So now I'm in a situation where, according to all the pregnancy tests, I am pregnant. According to the Clearblue Digital, I'm definitely pregnant, and it is 1 to 2 weeks past conception. And normally these Clearblue Digitals do not lie. If a Clearblue Digital says you're pregnant, then you probably are. My issue, though, is do I believe that I'm pregnant? And the answer is no. Well, I do think I'm pregnant, but I think what's happening is that if I conceived and I bled so severely, I think that whatever is there is coming away and that I'm miscarrying it. And as upsetting as that might sound, I'm not trying to upset any of you guys, and I'm not trying to sound heartless or hard about this, but there's no point in me being upset if I continue to bleed and miscarry this baby, this pregnancy, because what's meant to be is meant to be, and I believe that if the baby miscarries, then there is a reason for it. There's something wrong, and so I wasn't trying for a baby. I wasn't planning for a baby, so I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be distraught. I'm going to be like, okay. Do you know what I mean? If I hadn't have done that test, I wouldn't even know any different. I just think my body was weird, which it is anyway. So I'd be okay with that, and then none would be any the wiser. So that's what I think is happening, is that I'm having a miscarriage of a pregnancy that is going to be the shortest pregnancy to miscarry ever. Because, like I said, I probably started bleeding about 10 days after conception, if conception occurred on the day when I think it did, which I don't know, but roughly around that time. So it's going to be, to miscarry a pregnancy that early on, it's not meant to be. It was never meant to be in the beginning. If, however, I continue to test positive and I don't bleed anymore from now, then what I will do is go and get an ultrasound done and check it out and see what's happening, and get a confirmation. If they say, look, yeah, there is, but it's coming away, or I can see where you've had your hemorrhage, you've bled from here, but the baby's there and it's all happy. Obviously they're not going to be able to see a heartbeat or anything like that. They will only probably see a gestational sac or a yolk sac or something, but they will be able to see if there was a conception and if it's still there. The only thing that concerns me and why I think I need to push for an ultrasound scan is it ectopic? I don't want a tubal situation going on and then we have problems, that put me in hospital, and I just can't afford to be in hospital with my children and everything. So yeah, that's the situation. So until I get it confirmed by a doctor, I'm either having a confirmed miscarriage because I'm definitely conceived, but I'm definitely bleeding, or was bleeding, like heavily for 8 days, or I'm having an unconfirmed pregnancy, which may or may not be confirmed in a few days' time. So if I am pregnant, then I can see this no other way than a complete miracle, in which case I am going to be joyful about it, and I'm not going to be distressed about it. I'm not going to be upset or resentful. I'm going to be completely joyful, because when the Lord does miracles, he does them for a reason, and the chances of me and my husband getting pregnant again is just so remote. There's no other way of looking at it. I mean, I know that there's always, if you're having unprotected sex, then you are putting yourself at risk of pregnancy, and I'm not stupid, everyone knows that, and I know there's always a chance, but given the circumstances, given how hard women try to get pregnant, I think any woman that has tried to get pregnant and can't will know that my chances of conceiving were so low that it just shouldn't have happened. So if it has happened, I'm going to see it as a gift from the Lord, and I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to be joyful. And like I said, if it continues to come away, then again, it was meant to be a reason for it. So I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be upset. The children, I think, might be upset because they do know what's happened. We're a very close family, and everyone's aware of what's going on. So either way, it's a win-win situation this way, because if I'm pregnant, then I'm going to be joyful, and if I'm not pregnant, I'm going to be fine. So I'm at peace about it, but I thought I would let you guys know, because if I do turn out to be pregnant, then I'm going to want to have vlogged this to let you know, because I'm going to forget. I mean, there's loads of other things I've probably forgotten, like symptoms and stuff, that I will have to, if I am pregnant and I continue to do pregnancy vlogs, I'll have to let you know all of those things. I'll have to start making some notes and stuff, because if I don't say this now, I'm just going to forget it all. So, this is probably rambling on now, so I'm going to cut it short, and I will keep you updated and let you know. Thank you for your messages and concerns. I'm fine, everything is fine, and I'm sorry I haven't been making videos, but we have been very, very busy. So, and I do plan to read my messages and to reply to you, so, don't worry if I haven't replied yet. Okay guys, I'm going to go, and that's just an update to let you know what's been happening. I will speak to you all soon. See you later guys, bye!